And just by the way, we're keeping a very close eye as I come back to talking to the Social Development Minister, Lindiwe Zulu, keeping a close eye on the flight that is carrying the queens of African football, Banyana coming back this morning. Our head of sport, Vato Ngobeni, just sending me an update from where they are at the moment. In case you want to follow them and live tracking at the moment, Qatar Airways is the aircraft that they're on. QR, so Quebec Romeo 1363, expected to land just before 10 o'clock this morning. And Minister, that's got to be wonderful news when you watch that. So let me ask the question: who's more popular right now, Bafana Bafana or Banyana Banyana?
Banyana. Can you even ask that question?
I just wanted to check. I had to make sure.
Please.
I had to make sure.
Please.
How did it feel when you saw that result?
Yeah, no, Banyana is. I know it's taken them a lot. I've been following. I've been listening to their interviews, and I think they are, well, Balula would say a bunch of winners, yeah, right? But I think it's lessons that we need to learn as South Africans about giving our communities, our children in particular, and young people equally, boys and girls, men and women, giving them equal opportunity, because this world is made out of both men and women. And these young women have shown the resilience, the commitment, and I think there's a lot of pain they've had to go through, because, I mean, look, really to bring this home, I don't think it was easy for them. And to be in that stadium with all those people that are cheering opposite side, it must have been very difficult for them.
I know that you mentioned Fikile Mbalula a moment ago, and we're not going to talk about the sports department. That's not where I want to go. But I wonder if the team can't bring that video up for us where they were doing the dance on the pitch. I'm sure my crack team will bring it up for us now. It's going to come up in a moment. Love this. It's going to become a meme, by the way. But Minister, I'm curious, from a social development side, how do you capitalize? Take a look behind you on that video wall you like so much. How do you, as the Minister of Social Development, capitalize on this? Because you spoke about upliftment. And I imagine we can go down to grassroots education, sport. Where do you take this, Minister Zulu?
We have to take advantage of this win, firstly for letting young girls know it is possible. But really, look, I always talk about young girls. I talk about the young boys too, because they've got to be able to see that despite all the challenges that they face, it is possible. We've got to take them to the schools to go and talk to other children in the schools and youngsters in the schools, tell it exactly how did they get to be where they are now. This is also uplifting for our South Africanness. It's very, very uplifting.
Let's uplift it a bit more, Minister. Take a look at the video. Here it is for us. I love this video. Please, can someone make this a meme? Okay, this is the part we love. I think we got Nat sound. This next moment, though, is great. Wait for it. I hope that's how they walk into OR Tambo this morning.
Well, they will. I'm sure the crowds there's going to be lots of crowds there for them.
And we need this as well, because
this is mood lifting.
It's mood lifting, especially.
But also it's giving South Africa an opportunity with all the other negatives that keep going around. Even in the midst of negative, there's always a silver line.
And that's
this
what I was going to say.
We
want this, especially off the back of the flooding earlier this year. Tell me about your department with the flooding in KZN. You were one of the first to jump in, and people who've lost documents and they need, you know, cards for social relief of distress, whatever form that takes, the 350, the COVID-19. You acted quite quickly on that. There were a couple of stumbling blocks, but were you happy with the way it was handled?
Well, we could have still done better, because when you go and find people in a hall, in different halls, and it's all men and women in the same hall and children in the same hall, my view is that we could have done better in separating them, because that's where they eat, they sleep, they do everything. And I think it took us a bit of time, but ultimately we were able to do that. The reason why the Department of Social Development is able to respond that immediate is because social relief of distress is one thing that we are specializing in right now, because it doesn't have to take floods in a place. We know there's going to be floods, there's going to be fires, there's going to be poverty. Also for us, we regard as something that we need to do. So we're able to respond that easily because we've got systems on the ground, firstly. Secondly, we've also got the NPOs that we non-profit organizations that we work with very closely, which I must take this opportunity to actually thank them because they have an advantage. They don't have the bureaucracies that we have in government, so they move faster than we do. And also, let's not forget that the floods were not only in KwaZulu-Natal, it was also in the Eastern Cape, where we went and we saw families that had lost. I mean, the most painful one for me was a mother who lost a daughter who was in matric. The daughter was washed away by the floods, and they were all in one hall. My view is that as a Department of Social Development, we need to coordinate properly with other departments. We have to be ready for these things, but before you even ready for it, we need to see what is it that we can do to avoid the disaster in such a way that it's so devastating.
Let's talk about services very quickly, Minister. In the couple of minutes I have left with you here, I've got a tweet, and I know you don't mind hearing tweets from viewers. Maybe you can just help me go through a couple of these very quickly. Ricardo McKenzie, I've seen all of them, so I'm just going in the order from the top to the bottom. Thanks for all the tweets at Gareth Edwards SA. Hi, Gareth. Could you please ask the Minister why they closed the Khayelitsha office without notice? How are people supposed to access services? Maybe just talk about, I'm sure there's bureaucracy and admin involved, but offices do tend to close. What do you tell Ricardo?
This one for me, I wasn't very happy with. I was very upset with it because I said to SASSA, provincial SASSA, I said, it's not you closing the office. It's you closing the office and not having an alternative immediately. That I was very upset with. Secondly, it's the poor communication, and I've really demanded that SASSA improves and increases on its communication, because all these people need is just to be told that on date so-and-so, you're not going to be able to get your services here. Go to the following services. That for me was really an unfortunate situation, even though I understand that we need to refurbish, rechange the office so that it becomes much more convenient for our people. Also, we want to use technology to service our people, so we need to improve. I just wasn't happy with the fact that it wasn't communicated properly, and I agree with Ricardo. It's something that I must make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Is it going to reopen? Just help me understand what happens next.
It will reopen once it has been fixed and refurbished, because as we are doing, we're trying to refurbish our offices in such a way that when people come into the offices, they must be comfortable in the waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got a couple of more tweets. I'm going to try and get through all of them. I'm just scrolling here on my phone. I'm not being rude to the Minister or to you watching us at home. Here we go, from Palesa. At Palesa with a lot of numbers. I can't read all the numbers, Palesa, sorry, but from at Palesa. Hi, Gareth. As a social worker, I'm concerned about all the unemployed social work graduates. Please ask the Minister why it's taking so long to absorb social workers. It's a good question. Do you have enough?
Yes, absolutely. It's a good question, and it's been something that parliamentarians, in particular our portfolio committee, has been chasing us on. The challenge here, Gareth, is that we train the social workers, but as a Department of Social Development, we don't have the budget to absorb all the ones that we train. Our responsibility now is to go out and make sure that other departments that have an opportunity, like the police, they have an opportunity to absorb the social workers, like other departments, like education. You see, we've got troubled schools, and in the troubled schools, you need social workers. You find the troubled schools with only one social worker, but we can't employ that social worker. But we're developing a strategy now, and we're also calling on the private sector to assist us. My view is that some of the social ills that we have in our communities can be assisted by us having social workers street to street, community to community. So we've got the plan of what we might do. We've absorbed some of the ones that we have trained, and some of them we're taking them as volunteers. That's not adequate, I know.
And I'm going to just ask us to keep this one brief, Minister, because I'm sure you get this question a lot, but now that I have you with me, I'd like to just end off on this tweet from, I can't even see who the tweet is from. Let me see if I can find the name. From Noklachla Giane. Noklachla, thank you very much for the tweet. Very briefly on this, Minister, if we can. Hi, Gareth. I'd like to know if the Minister thinks, and it might be an insensitive question, but I'm sure you're used to this, if the Minister could survive on 350 Rand a month, does the Minister think this is enough? money to survive? And I'm sure you get this question a lot, but now that you're here, how do you address it? I mean, you know it's not enough money. You're not pretending it is.
I know it's not enough, and I said that from the very beginning. One of the reasons why we're fighting or we're arguing for the basic income grant, it is because we know that the basic income grant will be way bigger than
What is that number? What's the aim? Do you know?
Well, it's difficult to put a number because when you put a number, then you scare all the others. You scare Treasury, you scare everybody else. The president,
Finance Minister panics.
The president just, not only the finance minister, unfortunately for us, we've also got investors, we've got business, we've got people that panic and sort of like take wrong decisions.
But the point is you recognize it's not enough. You're not pretending it is.
I've always said that it's not enough. And I said in the beginning, it's not possible, but the fact of the matter is that we needed to have something that we can put in the hands of the people, which, by the way, goes back in the economy because they use the money to procure goods and services.
So I'm trying to get through as many of the tweets as possible. Obviously, there's a lot. I won't get through all of them, but I hope I managed to get the answer that Nokhlahla was looking for on that. Lindiwe Zulu, Social Development Minister, going to be staying with us for a little bit longer. So if you still want to get some comments and questions through, I'll try and get through all of them. But there's quite a lot to talk about as well with the Minister as well. She'll be with us for the next few minutes. So you can tweet us at eNCA. My team finding a few of those. You're also welcome to tweet me at Gareth Edwards SA. You can see it's a bit quicker for me to grab a tweet, and the Minister very happy to take a couple of questions as well. So we'll speak to the Minister again in a couple of minutes.